Hey guys, this is going to be a new PI tutorial for our low effort single planet P2 system. So previously we had done this sort of setup in the wormhole where the yields are incredibly high. But what we're going to be doing here is running the same sort of principle but in LOWSEC. Now the yields on the planets get better the lower security you go, but we're going to be doing our setup in a 0.4 system. Just so that we know going deeper into LOWSEC, you're going to get it's going to get easier as opposed to more difficult. So we're going to do it in the 0.4 system, which is the most difficult system to get the yields that we need. So just to show you here, this is a barren planet that I've set up, and we're not even done our first day run, and we've made about 2.2 million plus a little bit because I moved some. About 2.2 million ISK in robotics in about 22 hours. So real value after taxes, I'm going to get over 2 million off this planet per day times 5 planets. That's 10 million a day times 30 days. That's 300 million ISK per month passively off each tune. So each tune on an account. So I should end up with 800 or 900 million extra passive income off of this one account. So not enough to plex our account like it was in the wormhole, but still enough to probably supply our fun. So this is the setup that we're going for. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. So single planet P2. Did I lose it? All right. Here we go. All right. So this is what it's going to look like. Previously, we had 3 arms of it in the wormhole, but here we've only got 2 arms because the yields are smaller on the planets. We need to use more extractors, leaving us with less CPU and power grid to run factories. So it seems to me that in 0.4 systems, we're going to get 2 arms. Now, the math on this is we need 6,000 P0 per hour per arm. So with 2 arms, we're looking at 12,000 P0 every hour on average over the course of our run. So we're going to be setting our runs such that the average per hour is around 12,000. And we're going to be focusing on the rare resource when we set this up. So what I've done is I've actually targeted products for making fuel, mechanical parts, and coolant. And I've surveyed some of the planets here, so we can see here that we've got it's probably going to be easier on the storm planet to make coolant because the gas planets are so big, it uses extra power grid and CPU. So we're going to go with a storm for our coolant. I've already set one up on Rahatalon 9, which I'll show you. So it's fresh, so it hasn't really produced much yet. So this is what it looks like. You can see here we've got 6 extractors over here. This is the rare resource, ionic solutions, I believe. And this is the aqueous. And on this planet, I was able to do runs of 2.5 days. So now you might think, okay, that's an odd number. I might not be there when it finishes, or I might not be able to predict the time of the day. But what you're going to do is you're actually going to go to your Neocon utilities, industry rather, and pull planetary industry over to your shortcut bar, and you're going to make that PI shortcut. And it's going to blink at you whenever a planet is ready and needs attention. So you would just click on it, open it up, and see which planet needs attention. All right. So now we're going to set up a barren as a storm rather, as our example. So let's go ahead and decloak so we could set up another storm. Which storm are we already on? We are on planet 9. So we're going to go with planet 6. Now the taxes on this planet are kind of poopy. They're 10%, but we're just going to use it as an example. So let's scan, and we're looking for ionic solutions first. This is the rare resource. Let's find the biggest hotspot, right here. And then we're looking for aqueous nearby. So we've got lots of aqueous down here. So I think we're going to set up in here. And I'm going to go through making both arms. It won't be super long. All right, so let's build Now we try and drop this in the area where we're going to be working, because when we open up a planet, it's going to focus on the command center first. All right, submit. Make sure you're submitting every step of the way. Now let's grab our launch pad. I'm going to drop this here. All right. And then we're going to grab an advanced. So we're going for 1 advanced and 2 basics on each arm. And I'll show you the math here once I have these set up. All right, and then our extractor. So we got 1 arm headed towards each resource, right? Because we want it to be able to reach as the resources shift around a little bit. Ooh, I better cloak up. Get moving, just in case they probed me and I didn't see. All right. So now here's the math. So each advanced produces 5 P2 per hour, but it needs 40 P1. Now each basic is producing 20 P1 every half hour, so we need 2 basics doing the same P1 per advanced. And then these P1s require 3,000 P0 per half hour, so 6,000 per hour. So for each arm, we needed 6,000. So this is going to be 12,000 per hour. P0 is what we're looking to extract. So let's start with our rarer resource, which is the ionic solutions. Oh, I have to submit first. All right, let's open that up. Now let's start with like a 2-day. Let's see what we can get for a 2-day run here. See if we can get it balanced to 12,000. Got a nice hot spot in here. Oops. So we're looking for an average of 12,000 here. So we got 13,000, that's pretty good. Now let's do this one. Now we want a little bit of overflow on the rare resource is good for when we can't reach it as well. That'll give us some buffer. So now let's go to this one and make sure we can get our 12,000. All right, and we're looking for aqueous. Let's see which side's better here. This side's better. So we've got 13,800. So what we can probably do is on both sides do a couple extra hours. All right. Maybe a little more here. Let's do 2.5 days, and then check this one at 2.5 days. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to do 2.5 days. Yeah. So let's start our extraction. And then start our extraction on this guy at 2.5 days. And we're good. So we're very well balanced there, just over 12,000 each arm, each extractor. So now we're going to be routing. So the way the routing works on this is everything dumps into the launch pad, and then from the launch pad goes to where it needs to go. The final product dumps into the launch pad. That's our storage. It can hold quite a bit, quite a few days worth of P2 before you have to launch it up to the POCO. So let's go ahead and route. So the first thing we're going to do is route our extractors. So this is aqueous that we just did. Now let's route our ionic. Let's make sure we're submitting frequently. Now our product here is going to be coolant. So let's install and route. Install and route. And the products feeding this are electrolytes, and water. So now everything is routed into the launchpad. So now what we need to do is route it from the launchpad to the factories. So first, we're going to route our ionics to the first basic factories. Get the big ionic, first basic factories. Now the aqueous to the second basic factory. And now our P1s, so electrolytes, second electrolytes, these are being routed to the P2 factory because it processes the P1. And now our water, first water, and second water. Now hit submit, and we're done. So, oh, look at this one. I left this one over here by accident. Okay, so we got one that later on we'll have to move. So, we could have probably put that over here. Let's go ahead and stop that extraction and redo it. Stop extraction. Move this guy over here. So we got a lot of extra, but that's okay. Actually, let's remove that. Start extraction, and we'll redo this one with the extra head because this is the rarer resource. So we want extra here if possible. And let's submit. So now these are each feeding enough every hour to supply the P1, enough P0 for the two P1 factories, and then those two factories, those basic factories, are supplying enough P1 to produce the P2 every hour. So every half hour they produce 20. So in an hour they're producing 40, which is what each advance needs. And there you go. This is the low effort single planet P2 for LOWSEC. Now in a 0.2 system, the yields are much higher. So you actually end up with extra power grid and CPU. What I highly recommend doing with that is setting up an additional launchpad. The reason why I say launchpad and not storage is because there is a cooldown moving stuff from your storage to the launchpad, if I'm not mistaken. As where with the launchpad, if you use it as storage, you just launch it directly to the POCO when you're ready. And in these 0.2 systems with the extra storage on the planet, you don't need to be on the planet to shuffle it from launchpad to launchpad as one fills up. So you can do that remotely, and then whenever you're in the system and you want to pick up your PI every couple weeks, let's say, you just launch from both launchpads up to the POCO and pick it up. And you're just picking up the finished product. There's no shuffling it around to another planet. You're picking up coolant and mechanical parts as an example, which are used constantly in fuel. There's so many structures in space, they're always in need of fuel, so they're always in need of mechanical parts and coolant. What we can do here is we can actually open up in the tool library. I'm going to show you how to pick products. So we have this thing in game called the tool library, and there is a section called industry tools. You can actually just search these direct. Now you can see here that there are PI trends. What we're looking for is P2 trends. We're going to click on that. It's going to open up, and we can actually check. So we can see here that mechanical parts are steady above 10K. That's a pretty good price. Coolant is not so much. It's kind of unstable, but it's currently above 10K. And these two are constantly used in fuel, so they will sell. All right, guys. that has been our LOWSEC Single-Planet P2. I hope this helps you get some extra passive income on the side, and you can see that with runs of 2.5 days, and in the 0.2 system, my runs are 3 days. It's very low effort. You reset it every 2-3 days. Come by and pick up your product. You can see here that my 1 day worth of product is actually quite small. So this is, let's open it up. So storage, my mechanical parts, the P2 final product for 1 day is only 300 meters cubed. This thing holds 10,000 meters cubed in the Launchpad. So that's, 30 days worth of P2 per Launchpad. I can swing by in 3 weeks and pick it up. And in the 0.2 systems or 0.1 systems where you have an extra Launchpad, you can come by even less frequently. Very low effort. All right, cheers guys.